Now, I'd like to welcome our guest panel tonight for Guerilla Networking. We have Kimberly Palmer from Networks on my left-hand side here. We have Brenda Thompson from Networking World and Jeff Tucker from No Fuss Events. So a big round of applause to these guys. Okay, now we'll start with you, Kimberly. Now, we go way back, don't we? Not really, a little bit. A year or two. Now, Kimberly actually helped consult to me on nationwide networking for the networking topics about a year back. So, Kimberly, I'll get you to tell us a bit about what you do now and what's your current role.
I have been running networks for about 8 years now, and I started running networks because I wanted to run networking events for people like me, and at the time that was me being a young marketer, and I was going out to events and it was me and old blokes in suits, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with old blokes in suits, but I was a wee young lass at the time, and now I have to, I think, reinvent networks a little bit because I can't be a young marketer. I turn 36 next month. So I also have been working in marketing for about 8 years, and I've been working in marketing for 15 years. I've been working for myself for those 8 years. This year I am spending 3 days a week working for a charity, doing charity marketing and development, and 2 days a week working for a car sharing company, FlexiCar, and I believe Monique Conhetty from FlexiCar has spoken to this group before. So yes, queen of networking and low budget marketing.
Excellent. Now, pass it over to you, Jeff. Tell us a bit about what you do, because you won the Telstra Business Awards last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, Ben, and it's been a great trip since we won the award, and anyone that thinks that they should enter or a bit worried about entering, you shouldn't worry. It's one of the greatest buzzes you can have in your life, winning a Telstra award. What it does to your business is unreal. To be able to put it on your letterheads, all your stationery and stuff that you've won a Telstra Business Award. You know, we won the Panasonic for the between 20 and 50 employees, and we won the state final. We didn't win the national final, but we're determined to win it this year. And we've learned so much from that trip because, as I said, to have the ability to be able to put that on all your stationery and say you've won the Telstra Business of the Year, what it does to your business.
So tell it, because you run No Fuss Events.
Yeah, No Fuss Events is a very diverse company. We have a contract with Country Racing where we look after all the major race meetings throughout the state, the Mornington Cup, Geelong Cup, blah, 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 for all the infrastructure. We have a part of the company has a grass protection flooring systems, and we do all the major gigs for down the eastern coast of Australia with, Telstra Stadium. When the police concert was at the MCG, we cover the ground and all that sort of stuff.
Do you get free tickets to the concerts?
I'm a bit old for most of those concerts. Okay. But, it's a pretty diverse company, but it has been remarkable what winning that award has done for our business.
So how did you celebrate?
Do we ask? Yeah, well, we had a pretty quiet night, finished about 5 a.m. and
that's quite a night.
But it was good. But it's really what it does for your staff, for the morale of your staff is unreal. So, if you think about not entering because you're not good enough, never do that. It's a journey. Have I got another minute?
Yep.
But I had a journey on Monday. I got a call about 3 months ago, and this bloke from the Reserve Bank rang and said, I'm from the Reserve Bank, and I thought, geez, I haven't had him ringing me before about most other managers. But anyhow, he said, would you like to be part of a small business panel? And I said, yeah, what's it involve? He said, we select 10 businesses, small businesses, throughout Australia to meet and discuss the problems of small business with the Reserve Bank. And I thought, yeah, that's fine. So on Monday, they flew us to Sydney. There was people from every state in Australia, Darwin, Tasmania, Western Australia. And these 10 small businesses sit down and discuss the problems that happens in business. We have lunch with Glenn Stevens, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia, and they pay you for the day. So
you sound shocked.
No. But all I'm saying is the benefits that you get from winning such an award as the Telstra business.
So interest rates up or down? I think that's what we all want to know.
Well, we didn't discuss that because what they wanted to know was how the banking sector is affecting small business.
Yep.
And that's all the prime business of the day was. But it was an education for me to go there. I'm a bit sad on the way home. I only had time to drink 2 glasses of red in business class, but
it's just not long enough, is it? So, how, in terms of winning the award, how has your client base increased?
Well, we can't say it's doubled, but what it's done is it gives you a lot of ability, a lot more confidence to go and talk to people.
Yep.
You put it on all your stationery, as I've said, and people look at it and they say, hell, these people must be all right. So when you're doing tenders and stuff like that, it carries a hell of a lot more weight.
It's that extra foot in the door.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And were you nervous initially putting in your application process?
Well, I suppose everyone is, and they think, oh, we'll be embarrassed, we won't get to the next step. And when we were selected as a finalist, the judges come out and they inspect your premises, and I thought after they'd been out, we're pretty convincing in the way that we present things. I thought, we might have a chance in this. I was very disappointed that we didn't go well on the national, but it was because of the way that we presented, and I've learnt that since. You've got to be very professional when you do it. They look at your website and all sorts of things, and website's a very important part of business. We're changing all ours. We've changed our name after about 12 years of business because of what we've learnt from being there. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And what tips would you give to these guys for entering the awards? So presentation?
I think be very careful with your presentation. My partner Dorothy done our presentation. Lots of companies have professionals do it. And really that's not the way that I believe the award's designed. I think the Telstra judges look at the input that smaller companies can have and how you can do it yourself and do it professionally. Never be afraid to build yourself up. Don't hold back. Give it to them all. It's great.
Fantastic. Congratulations once again, Jeff.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. Brenda, over to you. Now, you run Networking World. Tell us about Networking World.
Okay, well, I started Networking World about 2.5 years ago when I was brand new in a small business trying to find places to network. And it was like, I think until you've actually got a network, it's really hard to get a network. It's one of those catch-22s. Yep. And so a few of us got together and said, well, there must be more networking groups out there than just the standard one that absolutely everybody in the world's heard of kind of thing. Yep. So we started looking for others, and we realised that there were actually not just tens, there were hundreds. In fact, we've now got 1,854 organisations listed on our website. So we started off as basically a directory of networking groups, and it grew to a calendar of networking events. But then we realised that this networking was still happening, and we were still hearing lots of people saying, oh, I've handed out lots and lots of business cards. I've got a bottom drawer full of business cards. I've networked thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours, and I haven't made any money, haven't made a single sale. So we started looking at what was going on, why that was happening, and we now do networking training, networking workshops, and help people to network so that they actually do generate business from their networking.
Which brings us to our 7 networking tips for the night, which you've prepared earlier. We have 1, be prepared. Tell us, what kind of things do we need to prepare for networking? Because networking is one of the lowest cost marketing strategies you can implement.
Absolutely. And when I was talking about being prepared, it's really about knowing what it is you want to achieve. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's the way it goes, isn't it? And I see so many people who go out networking thinking, okay, yeah, I've booked into this lunch, dinner, whatever. I'm going to go, I've got my business cards, because mostly people remember their business cards, although not always, so it does help to have those as well. But what people really don't think about is what do they want to achieve when they get there, apart from, oh, I'm going to find more business, aren't I? Well, no, directly like that, probably not. Yep. So it's all about really knowing what it is that you want to achieve. So that was the be prepared.
So, Jeff, over to you. Tell us a bit about your networking, because you networked a lot in the earlier days to get it up and running.
I was probably a bit different. I spent most of my time in the pub. When we were seeking the country racing contract, there's 52 race courses in Victoria, and they're pretty diverse. So we took the time to go and meet the people at every racecourse in Victoria. It takes a hell of a lot of time. There's a lot of miles you've got to travel.
A lot of drinking you got to do.
A lot of drinking you've got to do, because racing's a pretty social event.
How's your kidney?
On the size I am, eh?
How's your kidney?
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's okay. But it's really, I've built the business on a personal relationship.
Yep.
And you simulate, when you've met someone, if you can simulate where you've met them, how you've met them, who they know, so that they can help you. All our business is built on referral. You won't find us in the yellow pages. It's all done on referral business. And referral business is the best type of business you can get. And the only way you get that is by getting the client's confidence.
Yep, fantastic. Now, Kimberly, the next tip that Brenda's got down is be a helper. What's your tip on this?
I always say to people that when you go to a networking event, you shouldn't go looking for what you want out of it. You should go into the room going, how can I help everybody in the room? And that's really different than the way most of us go to networking events. But when you think about it, when the last time that somebody did you a favour, how inclined were you then next time to do them a favour when they needed it? So it's, I guess, that, you know, process of reciprocity. We go out and we're so single-minded in what we want that we forget to ask the questions and then offer the assistance. And I had a little case story of this tonight. Somebody came up to me and he goes, do you remember me? And I'm like, oh God. Thousands of people over the years. And I went, Adam. And he came to one of my first events 7 years ago. I don't know where that came out of my very scary data bank. And anyway, he said, right, we started chatting and he needed to know this, this and this. And anyway, I went, cool, off you go. And he got out the door and then he came back and he went, I'm sorry, how can I help you? So, you know, in 5 minutes, I've actually got someone who walked out now feeling he owes me something and I didn't have to ask. So I think that's what I would say on that one.
Fantastic. Now, Brenda, tip 3, interested is better than interesting. What do we mean by this?
I think it's pretty much following on from what Kimberly was just saying. If you're really interested in finding out about the other person, what they're looking for, how you can help them, finding out about their business, who their clients are, what issues they're facing in their business at the moment, then you're going to be able to do number 2. Whereas if you've spent the entire 60 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes telling them all about you and what wonderful things you do and how you can give them blah, 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 blah and blah, then...
We're not American, are we? Though I think we should be sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're far less likely to be inclined to want to help.
Okay.
And my view on that is I don't actually mind if I go away from something with people having heard just sort of like 5 seconds on what I do, as long as I know lots about how I can help them, because then it makes the follow-up so much easier.
Yep, definitely. Okay, tip 4, Kimberly, look for win-win possibilities. What's your take on this one?
I don't know that one. What's that one? Okay. I know, win-win's very salesy, and I am in a sales role now, so I should really get that. I guess with that one, I don't know, I'm going to give you my take on it. I actually think when you go to a networking event, you shouldn't swap cards with everybody you meet. You also shouldn't follow up with every single person that you meet. I think you should only give a card to somebody that you're interested in hearing from, and you should only take cards from somebody you're interested in hearing back from. Otherwise, you've got a room of 50-odd people here tonight, and if you've got 50 cards, you're not going to have time to follow up. But if you've had a great conversation, you've made a connection, you actually, if nothing else, want to go and have a red wine together, you actually have created some level of a win-win situation. So to a certain extent, it's not about you getting something and everyone getting something with as many people as possible in the room. It's about what are some good few connections that you might make and making sure that you're going to get something from those.
Fantastic, thank you. And we have tip number 5, which is don't sell, which I think we covered already tonight. So when you come to a networking event, don't sell to the others in the room. It's really about supporting one another in your business growth. Okay, tip number 6, collaboration, not competition. Over to you, Brenda. They're sitting there. Which ones are you going to ask?
Which ones are you going to ask? Yeah, absolutely. I actually put collaboration, not competition in there because quite often when you go to a networking event, there are lots of other people in the room who do the same thing that you do. And sometimes you go to these networking events where everybody stands up and does their little 60-second, and I've heard it happen quite often. And I won't say which professions, but there's 4 or 5 professions around where you can almost count on there being at least half a dozen of those poor people in the room.
Yeah. We won't comment on what industry.
We won't go there. But that can actually be really unfortunate for those people unless they can look at this completely differently. But if you look at it as collaboration, not competition, then it's actually quite amazing how you can help each other. And I've had some real-life stories of things like this for two people with the same business but a slightly different niche market. They were actually able to expand each other's businesses by 25% by referring the people they didn't really want to deal with and therefore weren't doing the best possible proposals for. And another example was 5 people in one of those particular industries who combined together, not sort of in any formal sense, but they combined together in terms of actually targeting a large corporate. And they pulled off the contract.
Fantastic.
They couldn't have pulled it off by themselves. So all that extra stuff that came from not going, oh, you do what I do, oh, and have not talked to each other, into, hey, let's see how we can create a win-win.
Fantastic.
That's really my take on the win-wins. How can we work together?
Beautiful. Jeff, tip 7, follow up. How important was it for you to follow up after all these meetings and drinking sessions you were going to? I love a good drinking session,
Follow
quite
up,
frankly. Go out for a beer.
No. It's important that you keep in contact. Once you've made that initial contact, you've got to make sure that you follow up. And in this case of country racing, as I said, which is it's a pretty big contract for us, is we make sure that we go to every race meeting we can, every major race meeting in Victoria still. We follow up, we keep in contact with the clubs, because you get changing committees, changing CEOs. So it's no point getting the gig in the first place if you don't put the effort in and follow up.
And I guess for you, what happens, I guess for the business owners looking to get into larger companies, for you, do you have a strategy in place for when employees turn over?
We've just signed a deal with a company called Action Coach to look at succession planning and training all our staff. Because I own the company, it's a fair-sized company. We've got 30 employees. They're all specialists in what they do with marquees and flooring, and I don't wish to be there forever. It's a good business and I don't wish to sell it. So the only way you can get the next step is succession planning, and that's the reason we've gone down this training. So if we haven't got the people within the organisation, we will get them from somewhere else so that we can continue, or I can go and sit up in Port Douglas or somewhere and enjoy life. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's what business is about at the end of the day, really. Okay, which brings us to our first tip of 7 secrets to marketing without a budget. Network, network, network. Jeff, would you say that's one of the main ways that you grew your business?
It's the only way that I grew the business. Like our business started, I restarted. I'm like everyone. I went through bad times in the late 80s, early 90s, and lost everything. And I restarted about 12 years ago when a friend of mine bought a little plastic tile back from the Chelsea Flower Garden in England, and he said, "This is the future for you, Jeff." And from
What'd
there,
you say to that?
I could see that it was a product that would really take off.
Yeah.
And now we've probably got about, after we do the Pope in Sydney this year, we'll probably have about 10 million of these bloody tiles. So, but it's the way that the business has grown, and because I'd known a lot of people before I'd gone broke, and we'd had good relationships with them, I could ring them and say, "Look, I've got a new product. Would you like to have a look at it?" And it really helped us.
It really saved you, I guess, in a sense.
The networking that I'd done in the early days when I was a younger bloke had really, when I had another crack, I had the basis there to meet people and do it again, yeah.
Fantastic. Brenda, cross-promotions. What's a cross-promotion?
Right, so what's a cross-promotion? Basically, a cross-promotion is when two business owners would work together, and here's one of these win-wins. In fact, all of these, to me, are beautiful win-wins. So when two business owners work together so they can actually promote each other's products to each other's databases.
Yep, so through newsletters.
Yeah, it could be through newsletters, it could be through mail-outs, it could be through putting cool little gifts in things. Basically, all of these things are only limited by your imagination. The more creative you can be, the better it's going to be. But yeah, it's basically promoting to each other's databases.
Yep, which is one of the cheapest things you can do, without a doubt.
No cost advertising.
Yes. Kimberly, number 3, joint promotions.
I always get the ones I'm like, I wanted cross promotions. Joint promotions, I'm assuming you're talking about where you're actually working on something together. So you partner with another business and are working on a promotion together. This has done a lot in consumer marketing. I think if you're in how many people in the room are more in services marketing, professional services? Can I see your hands really high? So most people. So in those cases, then that's really going perhaps a little bit cross-promotion, a little bit joint promotion, but who are you selling to, or who do you want to be selling to, and who are you non-competitive with that you could work together and to promote to those databases? And it scares me how rarely people actually do that. We all sit away and we beetle away going,